We got something to talk about tonight. Yes, we do. I'm amazed at this camera. Let's go. Let me get my 4K. There we go. Let's get that 4K cam. Hold up. This looks familiar. I'm gonna snitch on Peter McKinnon. You real quick. You ready? Let's take a look over here. You see? Stats for nerds, right? You see that? He's shooting in 4K right here at 24 frames per second. But not every single piece of video that you see here is filmed at 24 frames per second. But notice the smoothness when he goes into 120 frames per second on 4K. Watch this.
I just sprayed my face with bug spray and my lips are numb. Are your lips numb? Why are my lips numb?
Okay. It's clean, super clean. I want you to notice something.
Do I look massive right now?
Yeah, you do. Ooh, the shots. Oh, amazing. It looks good. It looks really good. Listen to this. Listen to what he says right now. This is so very important. When I seen this video, I noticed it automatically. You have to pay attention to this. This is very important.
Look at that dynamic range. This is
You hear
the
that?
first time I have ever vlogged with the Canon R5.
Okay. He said, notice the dynamic range. It's high dynamic range. It's the HDR within a camera. So very important. This camera only has it in 30 frames per second on IPB. That's the only setting. Not even in 720p. No 24 frames per second. No 60 frames per second. No 30 frames per second on all I either. Just regular IPB. And that's what disappointed me about this camera right here. I don't have high dynamic range.
First time. I'm trying it right now. You're watching it. I've never done this before. This happened a month ago, so we're kind of like, we're back in time, but not really in time. You guys see that wobble?
Yeah.
It's usually when you're all the way out at 15. In the corners, IBIS with the sensor kind of wobbles a bit. I'm not used to that. That's new to me.
Wow.
I guess to fix that, gotta zoom in a little bit. Just wanted to point that out. Interesting. And I'm in the middle of, thought it was a good chance to bring the camera out and test it in some like
Yeah, I
rugged,
see it
pretty
right
harsh
here.
conditions, riding side by sides and quads.
Okay, I want to bring to your attention that some of these shots are from a GoPro.
How are those feet doing right now?
Soggy.
It's definitely a professional camera, 100%. Jesus, it's beautiful.
So back when I was like researching my first ATV that I wanted to buy, I obviously typed it in YouTube, and then this dude's face showed up right here, and I proceeded to go down the rabbit hole of what's called Dirt Tracks TV. And then
I like
suddenly,
that
the weather
off-roading
changed,
stuff.
and then it started snowing, and then this dude's face, his face showed up, and then I started watching something called Snow Tracks TV.
This is called the Miserable Lake Trail.
It's actually called the Miserable Lake Trail.
Miserable Lake. Obviously, we're having the best time ever because
GoPro footage.
And then when this guy just busts out a grill and makes a fire like a complete boss and just starts barbecuing. I can't even barbecue on my actual barbecue. The one issue that I'm running into, and I don't know if that's because this camera that I'm filming on right now is a pre-production model, it's not the finished camera, but I'm noticing it's overheating a lot when I'm shooting in 4K 120. I don't know if that's because I shoot too much in 4K 120. Maybe
Obviously,
like, relax.
if you're shooting in 4K 120 and if you got the camera on for over a certain amount of time, it's guaranteed that sucker's gonna heat up. The camera body's not that big of a camera. It's only slightly bigger than the EOS R.
It's not overheating. Whoa. All right, let's get out of here.
Amazing.
That was amazing. I've rode trails before, but I've never rode trails like that before. This camera performed so good. Like hand holding it in a side-by-side, in a Razor, going warp speed.
Yeah.
And the footage looks good. In-body image stabilization plus the stabilization of the lens.
That's another thing that's so important. In-body on the Canon EOS R does not have in-body stabilization, only on the lens. It's okay once you bump it up to 60 frames per second, and if you're doing B-roll for YouTube, it's no longer full frame once you put the digital stabilization on. There's 2 levels to it, and you get a serious crop going in. It's like a fly gimbal that you could run around with. So that's another thing I'm excited about, 100%. Even though I'm not even close to thinking, I still got a lot of work to do with this first. I don't know. Maybe I might get some money tomorrow. I'm not gonna promise that I behave myself because this is the apple of my eye right now. Like, I want to go pro eventually. It's gonna take me time, but this is a professional camera. This is what this was supposed to be.
Wobble in the corners, but it looks good. So I am very, very much impressed. We're headed back to the office now to dump the footage and see how it looks on the big screen.
Yeah. Peter McKinnon is doing his thing. He is the official golden boy of YouTube now when it comes to the camera game. If you know anything about the camera game, you want to learn the camera game, you're always going to listen to Peter McKinnon. He's going to teach you about Premiere Pro, how to use it, what cameras are efficient. He's a Canon guy, so he's sticking with Canon all the way through. I'm a Canon guy. One of the reasons why I got my first camera was because I was watching Casey Neistat. I love Casey Neistat. He's an incredible human being. I consider him the godfather of the vlog. He taught everybody how to get out there and have fun with a camera. And that's what it's all about. Create memories and have fun with a camera. And if you want to go professional with it, go professional with it. If you want to do tutorials with it, if you want to do a TV show, because eventually things are getting better with these cameras on YouTube, because the YouTube quality as you're watching it is getting better and better. Some of you only watch it on your phone, but if you were to watch it on a laptop, you see the quality difference. The quality on here, on your laptops now these days with these up-to-date computers and laptops, it looks insane what you're seeing over here in cable world, which I don't pay for. I don't have any cable. I stopped paying for cable a long time ago. In cable world, they're shooting in 1080p the majority of the time. I mean, if you got 4K channels, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just know the news is still being recorded in 720p, 60 frames per second. Like, a lot of it is, which is insane. I don't know why. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's because it's memory. It's constant memory they got to pay for, and memory costs. That's why it's important to try to shoot at 24 frames per second as much as you possibly can, because memory costs money. You're shooting in 4K, you're gonna need memory. What I learned from this, HDR is very important, in-body stabilization is very important, and getting your 120 frames per second is very important. I do not have 120 frames per second on here on 1080p, and I can't even use 4K 60 frames per second on this because I don't even have the memory card to be able to do it on here yet. I will be. Would it be an everyday vlogging camera? Absolutely not. I wouldn't even take that to the streets. Out here in New York is dangerous. I think that all the time. Me walking around with my camera, what I'm gonna have to do to keep my camera in my hand, because there's people out there that just saying, you can't trust nobody out here in New York anymore. It's just how it is. That's why you have a lot of vloggers out there. When you meet them, you find out that they have, you know, some of their camera bodies are covered up. The Canon sign, everything's covered up. Some people don't even have their camera out after certain hours. Me, I'm here all types of hours. I just don't go into areas I'm not supposed to be going to. I live with the mentality to always be ready. Always be ready. And you have to think quick. You have to be able to defend yourself at all costs. It's sad, but there's crazy people out here. There's people without a soul. You got to cover your camera up at all times. So I wouldn't be going nowhere with this camera. This will be a professional camera. I don't know how many years away I am from getting this camera, but hopefully sooner or later. If I get a couple deals and contracts with somebody, hey, I'm getting the Canon EOS R5 for sure. Hopefully soon. I'm learning a lot. I'm in a season of learning. I'm constantly learning. I'm like a scientist at this, trying stuff every day, trying new things every day. I learned a lot from Peter McKinnon. I know Yeezy taught you.
Yeezy taught me. Yeezy taught you well.
But Peter McKinnon taught me. Peter McKinnon is the man. Let me show you something he taught me. You see this here? Right here? You see this here? This is clear eyes. Somebody tell Will Smith to use clear eyes before he gets on camera. His eyes are far too red to be on camera like that. This is what Peter McKinnon taught me. Ready? He's a magician. See this here? I'll stick it in here. You ready? You ready? You ready? This is what Peter McKinnon taught me right here. This is what Peter McKinnon taught me right here. Right there. I put it in there. You ready? This is what Peter McKinnon taught me. Ready?